How you doing, everybody? How you doing today? Hope you're doing friggin' awesome. As always, I miss ya, I love ya, and I'm back, hopefully. And here's what I mean by that. Alright, so here on Newfie Reactions, which is my music-dedicated channel, with a little bit of stand-up comedy from time to time, you may have noticed that over the last year and a half, there's been very minimal posting, and the reason for that, if you don't know, a lot of my patrons who were following me on Patreon back in the day there know why, but if for those who don't, I'm going to break it down real quick, and here it is. So a little over a year ago, I was not making enough money here as a content creator to justify this. So I took out a line of credit, and that was racking up, and I was just like, holy shit, nothing is working here. And so I was like, okay, I had to reevaluate everything I was doing. Now at that time, I was starting to do movie reactions. Well, I did a little bit prior to that, but I've been doing it up to a year up to that point. But what I'm getting at is around that particular time when I had to make that decision, my movie channel started to pop off. It started to go big, and because I did the Man of Steel Superman movie, and then immediately that took off, and then the movie after that, Batman vs Superman, I started doing the DC comic content, and that just blew up. Like, I'm talking in 1 month, it just made me, like, I don't know, a couple $1,000s or whatever, and I'm like, holy crap, the movie channel is the way to go. Because the music up to then, I was struggling to get the content up because of just blocks, and when I did get something up, 100% of it is copyright. Oh, I shouldn't say 100%. 99% of it is copyright. Every now and again, something will slip through, but for the most part, it's all copyright. So I wasn't making any money off of that, other than like the support I was getting through the patrons. So I was just like, had to make a decision. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, what's the future of this trying to be a content creator? And I was like, all right, I think I'm going to double down on movies. So that's what I did. I made a decision. I let all the patrons know like a month in advance. Like, okay, I'm going to be transitioning and pretty much not going to be doing music reactions anymore, unfortunately. And I'm going to try to transition into movies because it's not that I'm chasing the money, it's that I'm trying to make this a career. And I was only making half of what I would make if I went and got a full-time job in town doing something. So I was like, just being supported by my wife and trying to get through this. And I'm like, holy crap, it's not working. But here's the problem with the DC movie content that took off. It did well for a couple months, but then once I got past the Zack Snyder director, when he dropped off and it started getting into other directors and the DC universe started, the views just tanked. It's like people were just there for that, and then those viewers, DC viewers, most of them are not watching any newer content. So I'm like, okay, trying to put out, I went through, continued with the DCU, putting out those, they just kept going down. I tried Marvel movies, I tried all kinds of other movies, comedies, horror, all this, and it's just still goes down. So it's just like the movie channel is doing okay, but not nearly enough. The movie channel right now, be honest with you, is I'm only earning about a third of what I would make if I worked a regular job in town. So yeah, it's not working. My plan was to double down and make double the amount of movie content, so that I'm like, hey, so that's what I tried for like better part of the year. So I'm like, if I can get out 2 or 3 movie reactions per month, I actually make ad revenue off those, and I'm like, this can grow into something. And then I'm like, once I get established on the movie channel, my plan was to come back to the music channel, right, and just do that for fun because I loved it and I just wanted to continue with that channel. But I was like, well, I gotta make sure I can put food on the table first, right? And look at the cat in the background, looking at the poster. Yeah. Anyways, so here we are, a little over a year later, and guess what? I'm worse off than I was back a year ago. And so I'm like, holy crap, what am I gonna do? So, like, here in Canada, I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but Canada's been getting worse and worse for like people trying to live. The cost of living has been increasing, like everything, food and gas and propane. And like, it's almost to the point where most families got to decide, okay, do we put gas into tank? Do we heat the house? Do we have to get groceries? Like, it's getting ridiculous. And cost of everything's going up, and my wage was going the same and slightly going down and staying the same. Like, it's pretty much been leveled out. And I'm like, well, if I'm leveled out but the cost of living keeps increasing, like right now I'm only making a small fraction of what would be equal to a minimum wage job at full time. So I had to sit down with the wife, and we were talking, trying to figure out, where do I go from here? Do I just quit being a content creator completely and go back and try to find another job and say goodbye to my dreams of being a content creator? And so we were debating it, and I've been thinking long and hard on it. So after a lot of consideration, pondering over it, thinking on it, that kind of thing, and like I said, I really, for the whole year, I've been missing doing music reactions. I was like, okay, let's just make one last big run at it here. Let's try and bring back the music reactions, see if there's enough support. You may have seen my community post that I put on YouTube just to see if people would be willing to come back and try to help support me to get back into music reactions. Because again, it's a lot of work creating those for zero income. Zero. Because YouTube, it's all copyright claimed, right? And so I was just like, well, if I'm going to invest, a portion of my work week into doing that, I'd like just enough compensation. And I'm not looking to get rich, like I said before. I just want enough to, like, even a minimum, at this point, even a minimum wage full time, if I was making that, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. So here's the plan going forward. I am going to try it out and see if we can make this work through Patreon. Now, I wanted to try to set up a YouTube membership page. YouTube membership, though, will not let me. It's not a feature available to me because too much of my content is copyright. I have YouTube membership over on my movie channel because, hello, cat. Thank you for joining me. Over on my movie channel because, like I said, that stuff's not copyright over there because the editing I do and heavy amount of editing. But the problem is the music one. So my only option is Patreon, and that's probably for the best because Patreon, they only take 8% as opposed to YouTube takes 30%. But that being said, we're gonna start up the Patreon again. Well, I'm gonna continue with the same Patreon I had before. I'm just gonna, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna add musical perks into it. All right, so the perks that I'm gonna have are gonna be similar to what they were before, but slightly different. I'm going to have a weekly poll where I take suggestions from the patrons and I put them on a poll and we vote. And I'm thinking at this point I'm going to start with probably taking the top 3. I'm going to take the top 3 results of the poll and do. So a lot of what influences what's going to be done on this channel is going to come from Patreon. So if I do, I'm aiming at about, I want to upload to YouTube about 5 music reactions per week. Now, of those 5, I'm thinking 3 will be a direct result of the Patreon poll, and the other 2 leave it open for me to either do something that I want to do, like something I see that might interest me, or if something new drops, like Miley or Shakira or somebody, or somebody I like drops a new music video, I want to leave an opening to be able to dive on and grab something new when it comes out. And also, there is going to be a tier, a legendary tier. Now, this tier is the much more expensive tier because the regular open entry tier for just the voting stuff is going to be really cheap, probably like $5 a month or something like that, right? Then we got the big legendary tier, which is already in place. It's been there, and just like it was when I used to do it, that one will allow a specific music reaction of your choice. You can suggest it to me and then I'll actually do it and give you a shout out or whatever when I do it in the reaction as well. And so that's going to be an option for people who want to pay to get a direct reaction. That'll be available. And then here's the thing, I'm creating a new tier, the supreme tier. It's above legendary, but this one is extreme, and by that what I mean is it's going to be for people who want me to do a full album reaction. There are going to be some restrictions there, like I'm probably going to say the album can't have more than 15 songs, blah blah blah, but it's a full album reaction. Now that takes an entire day of work by the time you record it, because keep in mind, to listen to a full album probably takes an hour, 2 hours or whatever, and then by the time you pause it and you're giving feedback throughout the whole album, that adds another 2 or 3 hours. So it's like at least like 4 hours of recording probably, and to do a full album. And then you got to go through and edit that, upload it, make the thumbnails, put it on YouTube, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. Now I just don't know if the full albums, actually, if I'll be able to put them on YouTube, they'll probably get blocked. So now I got to figure something else out again. Anyways, also one thing that people don't do much is I'd like for you all to help me when something new drops. When a mainstream artist, like a big popular mainstream artist, drops a new song, I'd like you to DM me on Instagram. People don't do that, and if I like, now that I'm back into it, if Miley drops a new song or something, hit me a DM, and if I'm free, I'll try to jump on that. That'll notify me that, oh crap, something new is out, and I can run, try to get to the computer first chance I get, record it, and that kind of thing. That would be awesome. So in conclusion, I'm going to make one final push here now to try to be a content creator. I'm not sure how many months I can do this for. I'm hoping at least several to get a good feel for and give it a chance to grow back up again. But I'm making one final push here as a content creator, and that's only going to be possible through the support that I get from the community who will enjoy my content and want me to continue making content, and at the same time, you know, and as long as you're in a position to be able to do so, because a lot of people are struggling, and I get that, myself included. So, you know, it is what it is, but the only way that I can continue to do this, currently living at a fraction of a minimum wage job here this many years into this, is through the love and support from the community. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me saying they want me to get back to doing music reactions, and I'm like, I want to do music reactions. So it's just like, okay, let's try to make this happen. Let's do one last final run, and hopefully it'll stick and everything's going to be magical, right? Of course it is. And those worried about movie reactions, don't worry. I'm still going to be heavily focused on trying to pump out 2 movie reactions per week. That's the plan. As always, I'm just going to try to work double time and see if I can't squeeze out up to like 5 music reactions this week as well, just to like go all in on this and go hard and see what happens. That's it, everybody. Peace and love. I'll have a link down below to the Patreon page if you want to go over and show some support and sign up and then take part in the polls, and maybe one of the other tiers get a specific request, or request a whole album if you got a lot of money to burn and you want a specific album you want me to check out. All of that would be great, and it'll help me pay the bills, get food on the table, and that kind of stuff, and it'll be awesome. Otherwise, can't wait to dive back into it now. I'm going to go see what's happening in the music world and start recording. I'm going to hit record and get into it. Peace and love, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.